When I was younger, coming from a working class background, I didn't really have the means to go to film school, and it seemed impossible, really.
You know, from 2013 to 2016, the only people of color that directed things was 2%, and it was 97% white people.
If you're from an underrepresented background, you're hardly ever on screen. And when you're on screen, it's a stereotype and it's painting you in a negative light often.
I think there's a risk that the film and TV industry becomes a monoculture, and they know that's a risk. I want to see more people in the industry who look and perhaps sound like me as well, and reflect the diversity in this country. Nobody in my family had made TV programmes, had any links to it, very working class family with a shipbuilding background. But this is what I wanted to do, and I wanted to make it my own, and I thought I could make it. There was nobody in the industry, as far as I could see, who looked like me, but I am persistent, and I just kept plodding away, and somehow, miraculously, I made it happen. Who'd have thought it?
I wrote a lot of prose, and funnily enough, people would read my prose and say, this is very visual. So I think I've always meant to be doing this. I just didn't know it was an option until somebody showed me it was an option.
Storytelling was always my first love, so I was really glad to rediscover writing and realizing that I could do it as a career, not just a hobby. So yes, that's how I got into it.
I started out on a very kind of traditional career path. I had various jobs in shops and bars and offices, and didn't really get into film until I was, in my late 30s. I put myself through university as a mature student and met this band, and I made a documentary about them, and suddenly for the first time it seemed that this could be something I could do and make a career from.
As someone who is fortunate enough to run a film course, we really want to have a diverse applicant, sitting in front of us at interview. We want to help try and develop filmmakers from all backgrounds and to hear various voices and get different stories. We're in the business of telling stories.
It's also really, really important because diverse voices bring so much to not only behind the scenes, but in storytelling. And overall, it has a positive effect for everybody, the people who are working behind the scenes and also the viewers who are watching films and TV programmes on TV, that they can see stories that reflect their life.
We should be in the screen industries as much as anybody else should be. It's very much our industries as much as it's the next person's. And actually, how long are we going to wait hiring other people tell our stories before we actually start telling our own? And we can tell them better, in a different way, in a way that's much more engaging, I would argue, than just 1,000 other people who work in the television industry who think the same way.
Things are getting better, but we still have to keep pushing.
And I think today people should look at it and say, look, there's an opportunity here. I think I should go for it. I've got a great story to tell, and today's the day I start that journey to tell it.
Because we need people in all the different parts of the industry, and it's something else that needs to be, more promoted.
Those of us who get to positions where we have, a platform, however small that platform is, need to be allies. We need to not only show people where, the ladder is to bring them up, but also to actually wait by that ladder and help them up. And I think it's all about support and about finding allies, because the thing that unites us all is that we are all filmmakers.
A rising tide lifts all boats. And that's something that I feel like once we are all able to embrace it, there's more than enough room for all of us in the industry.
And I think, especially in Scotland right now, what we need everyone in the industry connecting the dots and creating a pathway where, you know, those little kids, when they're on their iPads or their tablets making videos, and they're dreaming of making movies, can actually find a way of doing that in the future somehow, because there's a system that exists that allows them to do that.